So we're going to learn briefly 7.3. This is really use quadratic formula. We're not really going to answer the why question for today. We'll answer the why question another time. All right, so does anybody know the quadratic formula from a previous class or anything?
Oh my God.
4AC over 2A.
Close.
You're scaring me.
Got this much. What's your torque? B squared for a C. How do you remember this thing?
My teacher taught it to us, like singing Pop Goes the Weasel.
Yep, that's the one I want you to learn. Go on YouTube and find it. It's not on my channel. I can't sing. So there's this thing which is pretty commonly called the quadratic formula, but there's actually more to this thing. This is really an if-then statement. This is the then. What's the if? When can you use this thing, in other words? You can use this on any quadratic equation. So what's a quadratic equation look like? How about like this? So if you have something in this form, then you can apply this idea to it. There's one little caveat here with I probably better restrict A a little bit. You guys see why? What A would cause me a problem here? Yeah, if A was 0, then I'd be trying to divide by 0 here, and that's badness, right? Okay, so I better say with A not 0, right? If A is 0, then this thing is a lot easier to solve, right? I just subtract C to the other side, I divide by B, and my life's really chill, right? That's an Algebra 1 problem. So this thing is not really saying, there's no way to solve it if A is 0. It's just saying, this isn't the technique you want if A is 0. Go use a simpler tool. Cool? All right, so here's our formula. And now maybe we should try it out a couple of times. All right, so here's an example. This is one we did earlier, 7.2, number 29, right? And we just want to check our answer. It says to solve 4b squared minus 4b minus 1 is 0. Cool? All right, so coming out of 7.2, there I would use complete the square, right? Let me just see if I get the same stuff. Okay, so how do I apply the quadratic formula to this thing? What do I need to do? Stop raising your hand.
Sorry, Joe. You have to identify your A, B, and C.
Okay, I want to know what A is, what B is, and what C is. What are they? 4, 4, negative 1?
Okay, 4.
Complaints?
Negative 4.
Ah, negative 4. You have to be a little careful. Make sure you keep the signs with these, even if the A is negative. Okay? You've got to keep the signs with them. Otherwise, this thing won't quite work. Okay, so once I've identified A, B, and C, what do I do now? Yeah, this is really actually pretty easy. I just need this formula in my head, then I can write it on my paper, and then I can just plug in the A, B, and C. Let's go with it. All right, so this would tell me that X is, right?
Change it to B.
Why do you change it to a B?
That's what the problem says.
Oh yeah, the variable in the problem is about B's, right? Does that make any difference?
No.
Not really, right?
Just
That could
what
be
do
a
you-
smiley face even. This would still work, right? I would just need these two things to match. Okay, so I got V is what? So I personally would recommend towards writing down negative, and then what's B?
-4.
-4, plus or minus the square root. What was B again? -4, and I'm supposed to square that. Minus 4 times, what's A? 4. What's C? -1. And all over 2 times 4. Okay, see the matching? I would really recommend that you write all this down without trying to simplify in your head. Simplifying in your head is a really easy way to get an extra negative sign here, or an extra negative sign there, or forget the C number here. You guys with me on that? Those all happen. Sometimes you forget to square B if you just plug numbers in. Okay, so try not to do this in your head, just write it all down. Then your next step should be simplify. So what are the easy targets to simplify on this one?
2 times 4.
Okay, 2 times 4 on the bottom is 8. What's easy on the top?
-1 times -4.
Okay, the negative is a positive, so I've got 4 plus or minus square root of 16. So that's 16, right?
Yeah.
-4 squared, it's positive 16. And then I've got minus, is it 16 or 15? How do you guys know it's 16? What am I doing that's crazy? Why are you squinting at me like that? A lot of people get confused when we've got 3 numbers multiplied together. They multiply the first 2 numbers together, and then if this one has a minus sign, they subtract it. Okay, so don't go nuts. All of them get multiplied together. So I've got 4 times 4 is 16, times -1 is -16. So I've got -16, right? So I may as well write as plus 16, right? Okay, now what do I do?
That's 16 plus 16.
Why are you doing that? Why is 16 plus 16 your next step? Yeah, grouping symbol, right? That root is a grouping symbol. So I've got 4 plus or minus the square root of 32 over 8. Whoa, that doesn't really look like what I got when I did this before, right? Okay. So what do you want to think about 32 as? Okay, it's 16 times 2. So I've got B is 4 plus or minus
2 to the square root of 16. I mean 16 to the square root of.
square root of 16 times square root of 2, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, I think?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I can replace square root of 16 with 4. Cool.
Over 8.
Okay, and then this is all over 8.
And then you can reduce the 4.
Okay, see that? Then we can reduce on the top.
But you can't, can you do 4 in front of the negative square root of 2? Because it's attached to the 2 square root of 2, so you can't do that.
So we're worried about what do I cancel the 4 down here with upstairs, right? You guys all see that? To cancel, I have to factor it out of the whole top, right? So up here, I want to pull a 4 out. So I've got B is 4 times something over 8. What's the something?
2 plus or minus.
Okay, I'm sure there's a plus or minus in the middle. I'm not sure about your 2. 1, right? That'll give me the 4. What do I need to multiply by 4 to get this 4 root 2? root 2. Does that make sense as a step?
Yeah.
This maybe is a bit confusing in terms of a way to do this. Yeah? Okay, you want to see a different way?
Yeah.
Okay, so alternatively, we could write b is 4 over 8 plus or minus 4 root 2's over 8. And now we can cancel. So here we can cancel a 4, right? So I'll have 1 over 2 plus or minus, and here I can cancel a 4. So I'll be left with root 2 over 2. You guys all see that? That's the same thing you'll get here. Right here, if I cancel, I'll get 1 plus or minus root 2 over 2. And the difference between the green and the black is what?
Just separating the 4 over 5.
Yeah, it's just, am I counting halves separately or together? You guys see that? This is 1/2 and then also root 2 halves. This is 1 and also root 2 halves. You guys kind of with me on that? Okay. Am I done?
There should be 2 answers.
Okay, there should be 2 answers, right? So it should be b is 1 plus root 2 over 2, or b is 1 minus root 2 over 2. Yeah. Later I'll let you leave them as 1, but for right now I want to see that illustration that you know there are 2 answers. Cool? All right. Is this the same thing I got before from complete the square?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little awkward, right? This is actually the thing I got after I thought about the bottoms on complete the square, right? So what did we trade? Right? Like, we got the same answer using a different technique. Why would I use this technique instead of the other one? There's a trade-off here. On complete the square, you have to remember how to actually complete the square. On this thing, what's the thing you traded for remembering how to complete the square?
I have to memorize that thing.
Yeah, you have to memorize this thing, which I recommend doing anyway. By recommend, I mean memorize this frickin' thing. Okay. What else did you trade? Assuming you have both this and complete the square memorized, what do you trade?
Blanks.
Yeah, you trade a little bit of fiddling with blanks for a little bit of arithmetic fiddling. You guys all see that? Some of you are going to be better and more comfortable with arithmetic than you are with filling in blanks. Some of you will be more comfortable with filling in blanks than you are with doing this arithmetic. Doesn't matter. Either way is valid. I'm going to ask you a problem specifically for both ways. So I need you to be able to be comfy with both ways. But in application, you can pick whichever way looks more doable to you. Cool? They work and don't work at the exact same times. All right. Neat? You want to do another example?